I'm making plays. I'm making hits. I'm making hits. I'm making plays. I'm making plays. I never miss. Haters gon' hate. Yeah, they gon' hate. But look at the clips. Just look at the clips. At the end of the day, I was made for this shit. Dog, I was made for this shit. Nothing but green grass in my view. Hit him from 50 yards up the middle. All of my rushes are ready to move. Tell your quarterback, head on the swivel. Came all this way, so we hungry as hell. If we ain't winning, we ain't leaving the field. Overtime, now the shit getting real. Double overtime, shoot for the kill. I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. All of this ice in my veins. Tell me, how could there be anyone colder?
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? This is the Arrowhead PM podcast, brought to you by Chiefs Kingdom, of course. Got myself Dominic. We got Cory, our resident draft guru, DG, and Trizzy in the house as we talk free agency and maybe some mock draft in there. How are y'all doing today, guys?
It's good. What's good? It's good.
Good, fellas. Good to see y'all, man. How's everybody doing? KC, what's up, Chiefs Kingdom?
We
How
ain't
y'all
seen y'all
doing?
since the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah, we needed a break after that.
Bro,
Yeah.
we had a little
Oh, man. But
vacation, man. In Cancun.
Definitely. But we got a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since that said loss, but free agency has already started. The combine has begun. A lot of stuff to go over, but we're going to get started with free agency. A lot has been going on. One of the first big things to happen for the Kansas City Chiefs is putting the franchise tag on our starting guard, Trey Smith, which led to the subsequent trade of our one of our best guards and one of our best players, Joe Thuney, being traded to the Chicago Bears for, I believe, a 2026 third round pick, I believe, or fourth round pick. Fourth round pick? Yes. So
it could become a third pick, depending on how much he plays. But
Yeah, I think it's also how bad the Bears are.
yeah, something like that.
Let's hope they're bad.
So that was one of the bigger shocks of the offseason to start off. Obviously, the questions for Trey Smith and if we were going to keep him, I think a lot of us thought that once the reports were that the Chiefs weren't interested in adding the tag to Trey, and then the news coming out that he did get the tag was surprising, and then trading a guy that got 5th place in Offensive Player of the Year votes, which is kind of insane for an offensive lineman, but it's a credit to the way Joe Thuney played to the Bears, which helps with their issues in the offensive line. But based off this move specifically, DG, how are you feeling about Trey Smith back with us and the exit of Thuney to the Bears?
Yeah, I think this is obviously a philosophy Vitch has kind of followed for his tenure that he's been here. Is always try to get younger, never try to get older. Unfortunately, Thuney was at that point where, getting towards the older part of his career. I think he's 33 now or whatever. So extending him was probably an option for them, but at the same time, it was probably an option to figure out how the best way to move on and get compensation for him at this point in time. It's just something that they've kind of followed, and they obviously value having the younger ascending guard on their team at this point. Hopefully they can work out an extension. Hopefully it's drawing near closer to an extension for Trey to be here for the foreseeable future and to get paid. But $23.5 million is not a bad payday for a full year. Something that franchise tag to me is something that I know it scares a lot of people or whatever because it's so much guaranteed money. But at the same time, you have to have that security behind it just to make sure that, you're the only person or only team at this point in time talking to Trey. He obviously filled other offers from teams, but it's up to the Chiefs for him to come back to the Chiefs and match if they can, and if not, then the team is on the hook to give away 2 first-round picks, which I don't see any team in this league doing at any point in time. So obviously the Chiefs are probably going to be the only ones in his ear So hopefully they can iron something out. But at first it was a little bit shocking watching Joe walk away. Just the emotional part of it. Joe's been here for the better part of this dynasty, or it ever helped rebuild this line after that Tampa Bay game. So it's the emotional part of him letting him walk away. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to do what you got to do. So wish him all the best in Chicago. But I understand them making the move to a guy that they feel like is ascending in his career.
100%, 100%. Now with Joe Tooney being out with the Bears, now that leaves the left guard position presumably to the second round draft pick out of BYU, Kingsley Suma-Ata'ia. I know he graded well, Cory. How do you think Kingsley's going to do as our new LG for that offensive line?
I said it when we were doing the draft comp on him last year. He had all the measurements to be a really good tackle. He has all the measurements to be an elite guard. I think he, on his RAS score, he was at a 9.96 RAS score for a guard, which would put him second on the team behind Leo Chanel. So that just shows his athleticism, his length, his height, his weight. Per that position, he's probably the best fit on the team. And based on numbers, the best fit you will find for a plug-and-play guard like that. So, I've got really high hopes for it.
Nice. I think by watching...
No. It lost Dominic.
Dom will be back in the store.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go ahead and talk about the Tooney trade, Tracy.
It happens. But yeah, Tooney, losing Tooney, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a big fan of it. I understand that, like DG said, throughout Veach's tenure, Billy Donovan and those guys done a terrific job with the roster, with the team in general through this stretch. Obviously we have a lot more football to play, with having this team together, but we're not in the business of paying guys 30 plus 3 contracts. And unfortunately Tooney was, already on this team. I thought Tooney would be like a golden ticket, like he'd be the exception. Yeah, but obviously Veach had other plans, and maybe they see that 4th round pick as being valuable, to go get a guy, or go trade up, or go make some moves with that 4th round pick. Hopefully it turns into a 3rd. We'll see. But my exact emotion in those moments, I wasn't expecting Tooney to be gone. I wanted to run it back with him at the guard position, and obviously we would have still been debating about the tackle position, but we solved that. We'll get into that in a minute, but wishing Tooney the best, man. Chiefs legend, deserves to have his name up in the rafters with everybody else. Absolute pro from start to finish. Stud, all pro here 2 times. 4-time offense, 4-time all NFL, or something.
Yeah, all
like
pro,
that.
yeah.
All pro, yeah. Just an outstanding professional. Glad that we were able to, get him from New England those 4 or 5 years ago, and he's been excellent, from start to finish. So sucks that he has to leave, but the beat has to go on, and that's how the Chiefs do business. It's a I ain't gonna say it's a bad situation. It's a tough situation, especially for all those offensive line guys, who that they really love Tooney here in KC. So tough for those guys, and I'm sure the Tooney family, we appreciate you guys, and everything Tooney's done for the organization. Sacrificing himself last year. Could have easily told the Chiefs, no, I want to play my position, and find the left tackle to play. I don't want to get out of my position, but outstanding professional. Stepped in, did a great job. Just wasn't able to, get that 3-peat, unfortunately. But wishing Tooney the best, man, in Chicago, and they got a shot for our dog, man. They do.
100%. What I was gonna say before I kind of screwed myself was I think with how we handled Kingsley at the beginning, where he kind of showed promise against the Ravens, and then got his ass beat by Trey Hendrickson, who ended up being the #1 sacks leader, by the way. This gives him a new opportunity to really step up and prove why he was drafted in the second round and had all the ability, and I'm just really excited to see what he can bring at left guard. Is it a total lock that he'll be great? No, but I think with his grade as a athlete, like Cory mentioned, like I think being able to be that versatile will be helpful for this offense for sure. Speaking of left tackle, probably the big splash move that we made so far in free agency. As soon as free agency started, we signed a left tackle, Jalen Moore from the San Francisco 49ers, I believe on a 2-year contract. I'm going to look it up real quickly, but he was the backup to Trey. Dang it, I'm forgetting his name.
Trent Williams.
Trent
Yeah.
Williams. That's crazy. But he started and only allowed 2 sacks in his 12 starts, I believe. Sorry. In his last 3 seasons, he's only had 4 sacks allowed over 861 snaps with 0 penalties. He's got a block rate of 73 last season, which is higher than any Chiefs offensive tackle in the last 2 seasons, which is saying a lot. But Trizzy, what do you make of Jalen Moore, the new left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Definitely some upside there. Athletic guy. He is a backup, so there is a risk and reward here. But I think the risk is minimal for the Chiefs. It's a 2-year deal. Gives him the chance to be consistent if he wants to get paid at that position here. So 2 years to put in some framework with Pat. Excited for his athletic ability. He is not as big as I would like, but hindsight, him being able to move that well, use his hands and feet. He's been going up against some of the better pass rushers. Has to see guys like Bosa every day. Um, been obviously been tested a little bit, and we've seen that he's done well. Hopefully that can continue here. I'm not gonna say he's just gonna step in and be excellent, because I just don't know right now. I am excited though that we found a guy and don't have to risk our future to try to trade up and go get a left tackle or try to see if we can work out a project. I didn't think that was a good way to go for the offseason. So this is setting in my mind that they want stability there. So let's see what he can. We'll see what he can do in the offense. He'll have a little bit of time learning that offense, but I think once he gets his feet wet, he'll have guys like Trey there, guys like Creed there, to help him out. Jawan as well, who's been on the offensive line, who understands the playbook. So it's a good move from the Chiefs. Obviously, you pick him up as soon as the free agency starts, so that number doesn't get crazy. Glad they were able to work the deal out, man. So welcome to KC, man. If you see these messages, man, we nothing but love and support for you, bro. Congratulations on the contract, you and the family, man. Hopefully, y'all can come in here and help us win some championships. We're excited to have you.
To me, this is kind of backwards of the way you see tackles move around. Usually, after the first contract, it's these tackles that have these high pedigrees, these higher draft picks that just didn't work out or had struggles that are moving. This one's kind of the opposite. It reminds me of Andrew Wiley, somebody that was a backup you didn't expect a whole lot out of, was a late round pick. He plug and played as a backup when injuries happened, and he played really damn good. And you're like, okay, this guy has some potential. Then he plays a little bit more. Trent Williams goes out some more. He goes almost 250 snaps with only allowing 2 sacks?
Yeah.
So this is kind of a guy that had lower expectations that kind of got his hands dirty and kind of earned himself a starting roster spot somewhere.
Yeah.
100%. Man, there's just a lot of signings. So let's go through the offense real quick. After we got more, we brought back Hollywood Brown on a $7 million deal that could be up to $11 million for him.
This is if Hollywood can stay healthy, this offense is perfect for him. Obviously, we have to wait, and depending on Rashid Rice, I'm just praying that they just be like, you know what, Rashid, do better, and we won't suspend you. Okay.
Slap on the wrist.
So yeah, not even that. A pinch on the
That's a big hope, brother.
yeah. So depending on that news, which I'm pretty sure we'll get to see here in the next couple months, it's gonna be at least 4 games. I know that much. So I hate that because I really just want to see the guys just No problems, no issues. Have all your guys come rolling off. I thought the offense was great to begin the season, or at least they were in great shape as far as him and Rasheed Rice. But obviously, I want to see a season of us having our guys healthy to see, what that looks like. I know that the Super Bowl and the O line, didn't play too well, but I think the offense, got it in their mind that they got to be better. They have to be better. There's no excuses, no buts, no ifs. We got one of the best quarterbacks to ever touch the earth, one of the best head coaches to touch the earth, one of the best play callers. Got the same thing on the other side on defense with Spags, one of the, now he's all of a sudden a Hall of Fame coordinator when he's with the Chiefs. But uh, I, I would say this, man. Hollywood, Rasheed, Xavier, not excited about signing nobody else. I mean, if we brought back Juju, I was happy about that. We talked about that earlier. I thought Juju proved himself a little bit more down the stretch than D Hop. I know everybody's a big D Hop guy, and he's a Hall of Famer without a question. But if you just turn on that tape, um, well, that's what they say, Corey. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but let everybody else tell it he's Megatron 3.0. So, listen, I don't have no hate in my heart. Juju is the better guy. I'm glad that they picked him back up. Having Hollywood, having Juju back. Obviously, you bring Juju back because you waiting on the Rasheed news. So that's a smart move from the Chiefs. Don't have to go outside and teach a new offense to a guy. So yeah, man, I'm excited for Hollywood, man. I think he's gonna be able to get that full 11. I'm pretty sure that's some, maybe some not. I don't think he's gonna be an All Pro. I don't think he's gonna have that type of year, but I do think that that receiving core once they get Rasheed, fully back into play, can be very very nasty because they have everything that you're looking for in receivers with a possession guy with speed and Hollywood Brown who can, run those shorter routes, run those deeper routes. Xavier Worthy coming into himself, just coming off leading the fucking playoffs and receiving yards as a rookie. That trend is sounding a little familiar with us. Hello. And then obviously, the emergence of Rasheed Rice. So it's a big thing with those guys. I'm excited that they're back together.
Hell yeah, man. And like you mentioned, we did sign Juju the other day to a 1-year deal. He was the only Chiefs wide receiver last year during the regular season to get over 100 yards, and that was against the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, Xavier Worthy had a great game in the Super Bowl, when it didn't matter at that point, but that's okay. Other things that happened, we signed back Kareem Hunt, running back, as well as Elijah Mitchell from the San Francisco 49ers. So now
I'm excited about it.
the running back room is a little crowded. I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom was like, oh, I guess we're not going to draft a running back in the first 3 rounds, this, that, and the other. I think that's still technically on the table, but it's great to have Kareem back. He was very vital for us when Pacheco was down. And I mean, he stepped up, and I'm glad we were able to get him back for this team. Another signing that we had offensively are quarterbacks that I don't think DG quite likes. We got Gardner Minshew Mania is back
I'll
and
tell you
here
something.
in
I'm not a
KC,
big fan of Gardner Minshew, but since he wearing that Chief Red, go Minshew, baby.
as well as Zap Man Bailey Zappi, who's back, who was on our team last year, and then we gave him to the Browns, and then he came back. So
Yeah,
we got the Zap
he's a
Man
terrorist.
and Minshew Mania as the backup.
I
How are
will
you
say
feeling about that?
I want to touch
Um,
on the running back room real quick.
Yeah,
I will say I think bringing back Hunt is not an overall visual of how the Chiefs feel about the running room. I think it's going to be put a bunch of bodies in there and see which ones perform the best. And I think that includes drafting a mid to early round running back. I mean, as much as I love Pops, if we look at last year, Kareem Hunt was a better first down back. He was a better second down back. He was a better short yardage back. He was a better red zone back. Pops has got to show something this at the beginning of this season. He's got to show that he's got that explosiveness back, or we've got to get somebody that's got a little bit more vision. That's more of that 3-down back that we can keep in that is going to open up the offense. It's going to pull those linebackers. It's going to pull those safeties up. So I still think that early running back is on the table.
Yeah, I don't think it derails their plans to take a running back early at all. In my opinion, is just filling the roster out to see which guys you want to kind of take into the season with. I would assume that Kareem Hunt would probably make the official 53 just based off of what he can provide for you in the red zone area, also short yardage, as well as being, like Cory said, on first and second downs. Just better vision. He may not have the same explosion he used to have, but it's nice to have a veteran guy in there that kind of knows the system, knows what expected of him at this point. Elijah Mitchell, I think, brings a little bit of more explosiveness to this offense. The only question mark really on him is his health, if he can stay healthy or not. And if
I
he
really
can't,
like Elijah Mitchell, man. I think he's gonna do well.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully he can do well. Incentive laden base contract, so really it's just up to him if whatever he can put on the field is however much he's going to end up making. But I think he brings some big explosiveness to this offense as well too. But we'll see if he can make the 53 as well. I agree with Corey's assessment about Pacheco this year. It's really got to have one of those years where you know you got to make us decide if we want to walk away from you or not or whatever. So big season on the line for Pacheco this year, but I don't think it derails their plans at all. I still expect them to try to go get one of these guys. This is very heavy, deep running back draft class, so you got to get a guy that you can see for the foreseeable future coming here and hopefully be Patrick Mahomes' first 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you guys with a nasty stat, and this is gonna show my point on how Hunt was so much more valuable than Pops last season. Isaiah Pacheco averaged third most four-man boxes in the league on rushing attempts. Kareem Hunt faced the second most stacked boxes in the league per rushing attempt. So 6 to 8 man boxes compared to 4-man boxes. They average the same yard per carry. That tells you how less effective Pacheco was than Hunt in the situation he was in. Hunt averaged the same yards per carry, averaging at least 2 more men in the box per snap than Pacheco.
Yeah, and it's no knock to Pop's game, man. It's just it is what it is. He was a 7th-round pick for a reason, and I think you're kind of seeing some of those flaws kind of come out in his game a little bit later on in his career. So at this point in time, hopefully he can get some of those adjusted and fixed. I think the vision for him is the main thing that you would like to see be improved this year. But it just takes the reps and time to get in there and see what he can do. But we'll find out.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Elijah gives me a little bit of that McKinnon feel where he has the speed, playmaking ability. I don't think he's as good as a route runner as McKinnon was, but I think once he gets around Pat and be able to get that feel for, how he plays and, things we do in our offense, I think he could be a guy that we actually roll on a little bit towards the end of the year. Kareem is just, I think Kareem will be RB1 to start off the year. I don't think it'll be Pacheco.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. We also have a lot of good we had some defensive signings. The first big splash defensive signing we did was re-signing Nick Bolton to a 3-year, $45 million contract.
Good for the Chiefs. They don't want to be a terrible defense. You needed to resign Nick Bolton. I don't care. People talking about he's not as he's never been a cover linebacker. I don't want to hear anything about that. All right, like, what are we talking about? If you watched him at Mizzou, he does the same thing at Mizzou that he does now. And in the Spags defense, we need that. Our run defense was not sure what we did a lot different from that year that we had Snead than last year, because our run defense was horrible when we had Snead. But man, if we can get that run defense like that again, man, I think, that's setting us up for success, because it looks like Trent McDuffie will be back on the inside.
Hell yeah.
Now, you can hate on Bolton all you want, but you look at the rest of the way the roster construction, who else on the backside is lining up the defense?
Exactly.
Name a vet back there that has the presence to be able to call the audibles, adjust the line. Bolton's been doing that for years. There's not one person on the roster, besides maybe Justin Reed, who just left, who I would trust getting that defense set up. So, to me, that's just as big as his ability playing downhill. Yes, you're asking a downhill linebacker to play in coverage every once in a while. That's not a strong point. That's like asking Eric Berry to play in coverage as a box safety. Eric Berry, great box safety, was limited in coverage unless he was playing against Gronk. So those guys are the same. They play better downhill. You ask them to run backwards, they don't have the athleticism. We need that linebacker like Willie Gay so Bolton can do what he does best.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
I
The
still
outside.
don't think Willie
Oh,
Gay
my
is
bad.
better than Leo Chanel, just to be honest.
I think he's got more experience. He's got more experience in coverage on being able to read when somebody's going to run that route in front of him.
Yeah, I
Leo's
agree.
still a little bit slow on lateral movement.
I agree. Essentially, I think that's why Willie's not here, though, is because Leo was playing so well at a young age.
Last year, for sure.
The other signing we did was Chargers cornerback Christian Fulton for a 2-year, $20 million deal with $15 million fully guaranteed. He's 26, really good open space tackler. Seems very much like a great fit for a Spags defense. What do you make of Fulton?
Dog.
That's it.
That's it. Straight
I would
dog.
say quarterback 1-2. Having Jalen, we were already sitting pretty good with Jalen Watson as our number 2. But now that we have McDuffie, we've got him and we've got
Fulton.
No, not the one I just said. So we got McDuffie,
Watson.
Fulton, and Jalen Watson. That may be one of the best 1-2-3 punches at cornerback. I'd say probably top 5 secondary. You add in Hicks, another year of Hicks. On the back end, we may have a top 5 secondary if you're looking at just all across the board.
And now I have a point about that. So last year, I think with the Christian Fulton signing, it kind of reminds me of a couple of years ago. Not as far as like play wise, because we haven't seen the guys play right, but giving Fulton that contract and still having Watson, who in my opinion has been playing better. He was a little hurt last year. Trying to bounce back and help the team out late. Did all that rehab and try to rush himself back. He'll be able to get healthy over the offseason. Guys won't be playing out of position anymore. We had to essentially move Trent McDuffie to play outside and play on the better receivers, which he always does. But, we know that he's a slot guy. That's where he likes to be at. That's where he's the most effective. That's where he was a first-team All-Pro. Snead, with his ability to follow, I think you have a guy now that can do both. You can put him in the slot or outside. Christian Fulton's absolutely playing lights out last year for the Chargers. Kills me how the Chargers keep not paying these guys. We'll take them if you don't want to pay them. Shout out to Drew Tranquil. Okay. But yeah, man, it gives me that feel that they'll be able to have some more familiarity on the back end, and like you said, Watson going back to his role as a CB3, which he was when Snead was here, and we've seen how well he played. So I'm excited about that part of it because it kind of puts guys back into their spots and getting them back comfortable. So we were a little uncomfortable last year. Still a good defense. I think we go back to elite this year with Christian Fulton, and hopefully he translates this.
Kind of reminds me of when we brought in who's that Redskins quarterback we brought in?
Kendall Fuller.
Fuller.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that move. Great play, and it's great. He's a great shadowing cornerback, not afraid to come off. I think our weakness last year was definitely Joshua Williams. His inability to tackle, his inability to turn and follow. This gives us 3 cornerbacks all along the line that have really good mirror abilities, and all 3 of them are willing to come downhill and make hits.
Yeah, he's ass. So we needed to sign a corner. He does. He's good at TikTok, though. He's good at those little interview things.
I've always said he reminds me of a baby giraffe running. Have you ever seen a baby giraffe run?
No.
Baby giraffe.
Who are we? Who is?
We're talking about
Joshua
Josh
Williams.
Williams.
I'm sorry, the Suns
He's
are a
just
really bad
he's just
team.
so
Okay,
tall
so
and he's just so tall and uncoordinated when he has to make a cut.
Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. I would
He
assume
goes to
at
make
this
a cut,
point.
knock it together.
He still helped make that pick in the AFC Championship game against the Bengals. I'll give him that, but not
They're
great.
great. They're great depth pieces. They are somebody that if somebody got injured and had to come out for 4 or 5 snaps, I'd be 100% okay with Joshua Williams coming in. Those are great depth pieces. But when you get a bunch of 7th round and undrafted free agents, they're going to have their flaws. They're going to have their downfalls, and teams are going to find a way to take advantage of that. With Joshua Williams, they figured out that double move. And anytime they make an inside cut or an outside cut, he's always a step behind because he's just not very athletic. He's a great depth piece. He's a great filling in for a few plays, get somebody to rest, but he's not somebody I want out there for 15, 20, 30 snaps in a game.
Yeah. So the other defensive player we signed, also from the Chargers, a former first-round draft pick, Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle. Just kind of some depth, especially since we, as of today, lost Derek Nottie to the New York Jets.
which is not good.
It's very unfortunate, to be honest.
We're lighting the ass on defensive. All right, we have no defensive tackles. So Jerry Tillery, you better come in here and be that guy that you was in Kansas City a couple years ago. All right, because when we played against them, y'all remember when we played against them? He had a day. So I think it was somebody in Chiefs Kingdom that actually identified him as one of the guys that we'd be looking at. So kudos to us for knowing ball. Who's that? DG. Shout out to DG, man. DG, the prolific. He's like a fortune teller. He talked about Worthy, talked about Tillery. Might want to start listening to DG, guys.
This is what I say at this point. I am Veach. The Veach you see is an actor. He's a fake guy. He just plays the role. I'm really Veach. I'm the one that does.
You put the body mask on and then you
Yeah,
take it off.
yeah. I just do it all from right here. Nah, just like Jerry Tillery. I've kind of had my eye on him for a little bit. I think there was a point 2 years ago where he was a free agent. I kind of felt like we should have probably brought him in.
Yeah.
To here, but definitely a dynamic guy. I wouldn't expect hellacious numbers from him or anything like. But a guy's gonna come in and do his job, hold down that middle of the defense, along with Chris Jones. Be able to spell Chris Jones at points and times and give him snaps off. Great upside in pass rushing technique, things of that nature. I'm not sure how he does against the run for real, but I know he's been a guy that's been disruptive, especially against the Chiefs in his 10-year against us. So hopefully he can bring that same attitude and swag to this defense. A lot of younger guys fits in that age range that each kind of likes. Is 27 years old to sign guys. So kind of another prove it. Come in and try to help us win title and see if you can hit the market again and get another big payday. So excited for Jerry Tillery to be here. I hope Chris Jones is really excited for Jerry Tillery to be here to help out. But I agree with Tracy. There's still some work to be done on their defensive line for sure.
For sure. So with all that being said, one of the main moves of the offseason that now people are like, maybe people should look into this because this has to be cheating, is another restructure of quarterback Patrick Mahomes and his contract, as well as the CEO of Sack Nation,
We don't deserve
Chris
it.
Jones.
We don't deserve those guys here. Asking best players in football, arguably top 10 players right now in football, to continue to restructure and give back. Just talks about them as players. Not only that, speaks to their unselfishness, their selflessness, and wanting to win football games. And they understand, if you can't pay guys, you're not going to be able to win. So point blank period, go restructure, get some better guys in here. So I'm not mad that they taking a little time on the rest of these pieces. Obviously, we still got some time to sign some guys. I would love Willie Gay back if we could. Some other guys that's been on my radar, but the restructure just talks to them as players, and they want their legacy to be winning. So doing everything for that. It's not like if they never won another Super Bowl, still one of the best, still one of the best organizations you've seen. So, but I don't think that's on their mind. I think leaving that Super Bowl like that. Obviously, the Kelsey news kind of hitting us a little bit. Then he come back. We still got guys that are hungry here to interviews and stuff on Twitter all the time, seeing the guys talk about it and just how motivated they are and having that mindset. Obviously, it's the NFL, a lot of parity, a lot of good teams, a lot of good football players, a lot of good coaches. So you never know when your time is coming. But for those guys to get up on that high horse every year, year after year after year after year, it's like when it's gonna get tired, when are they gonna get fatigued? The Chiefs are gonna fall off, this, that, and the other. So for those guys to continue to be back every year, getting themselves, their body, their minds right for the season to come in, be productive, actually be that who they think they are, and come in and want to give back so we can win. Testament to those two guys, man. Straight leaders. Love to having those guys in Chiefs Kingdom, man. Shout out to Pat. Shout out to CJ. I should have worn my son CJ jersey. I'm officially putting the CJ jersey up. We lost. It'd be a war crime to wear that jersey again. Uh, so I'm gonna hang it up in his sweet, sweet rest.
Yeah.
Uh,
For
but
the
you,
for the fans that are complaining about the restructuring
Restructuring.
and stuff like that, like this is how contracts work.
yeah,
If you're complaining about it, you obviously don't know how contracts work in the NFL. Especially with Mahomes' contract. It's not even a thing where they have to call Mahomes and tell him like, "Hey, we want to restructure with you," or if they just do it at this point. That's the way the contract has been structured from the beginning. So
it's not like he loses any of that money. He still,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
all
bank
getting
account
paid up
still is
front.
full.
yeah.
You're basically getting paid up front. And I don't know any player in this league that wouldn't want their money now instead of later at a later date. So
Imagine answering
obviously,
the phone and saying, "Hey, do you want like $35 million in cash?"
yeah, yeah, man. It's for the fans that are complaining, man. It look, you're gonna continue to keep complaining because year in and year out, this is what they're gonna do with Patrick Mahomes' contract, and he structured it that way to where
Oh,
they can be competitive
I
year in
did
and
want
year
to.
out in
I
free
did want to
agency.
troll a little bit, DG. Eagles fans, no Miles Garrett. Okay, I told you, you're not getting Miles
Dude,
Garrett. Okay.
I kind of want to troll a little bit too. I would much rather be in a situation with Mahomes and Chris Jones where they're willing to be team friendly and move money around than have two receivers on the team with the same agent saying either you sign both of them or none of them, and they want 70 million between the two of them.
Horrible organization. If they do that, I'm
Literally,
gonna I'm going to
literally holding that
celebrate
team hostage.
because their defense is
Yeah.
gonna be a track meet once again if they do that. I really only reason that makes that tricky is because, like you said, just the same situation with Trey Smith. Well, if we don't want to extend him, you got to come with 2 first rounds, and not a lot of teams are gonna be willing to do that. So in hindsight, you have to pay these guys, and if you don't, your offense gets worse. And obviously they already paid Jamar, so we still just wait. Have they paid T yet?
No, they're
Uh,
still trying to extend
Work
both
that
of
out.
those
They
guys.
still
Yeah,
haven't gotten anything.
if they
Yeah, the
do
last
that,
report,
it'd just
the
be
last
it'd be poor. It'd be poor. My bad, Corey.
the last report that I saw that came out yesterday was that they share the same agent. The agent wants both of them to have a deal done at the same time, not just one of them, and they're asking 70 million between the two of them
That's
a
absolutely
year.
Yeah, I think
disgusting.
all this kind of goes back to the point of this is a business at the end of the day, um, and that's how you have to treat it. And since Brave Beach has been here, he's proven to this fan base that we're going to conduct our business in the right way. It may not be the way you like it. It may not be the way somebody else likes it or whatever, but we're going to conduct it in a way of where we can still be aggressive, but at the same time be smart with how we spend our money and where our money ends up going to. And I think it is kept the Chiefs out of the places that these other teams have been in. It's kept them out of a situation like the Cincinnati Bengals are basically
Absolutely.
in. It's kept them out of a situation like the New Orleans Saints, who've been in cap hell for however long, probably damn near a decade now.
Yeah.
It continues to keep going. And I know a lot of people say the cap number's fake and blah, blah, blah. It's really not. It's
It's
not
really
fake. It's still at a point where you still have to be compliant to what the league tells you to be compliant to. And I think Brett Veach and his staff have done a phenomenal job of being able to be aggressive, but at the same time know when to trim some of the fat or when to let somebody go or walk in free agency. It is what it is, man. I know it sucks sometimes when we see certain players have to leave, like Joe Tooney or somebody of that, or the Jerry Sneed of that aspect. But it comes down to making tough decisions, and I applaud Brett Veach and his staff for being able to make those tough decisions and be able to walk away sometimes from certain players, just because you don't want to get emotionally attached or whatever. You got to be able to move on and be able to make smart decisions.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I think you just broke down, essentially why players like Tooney and Snead aren't here. You can't go on the fence paying certain guys around. You need needs. Obviously, you have to disperse that money out, but you also have to pay guys in positions that suit your team. So it doesn't make sense for us to go and go pay a why are we going to pay DK Metcalf that much money? We don't even throw the ball down the field that much. So do that make sense? Like it's just a lot of stuff that people be saying. Now sometimes I do troll and be like, yeah, we're gonna get this guy, but in the back of my mind, I'm knowing like we're never gonna pay a guy this much money or trade our future away like that. And they just do a great job of staying right in the middle of that threshold to where it's like you paying guys, letting guys go, getting compensatory picks or getting some type of compensation in exchange for players or a draft pick. I just think, Brett Veach does a hell of a job with that, construction rosters, contracts, and all those things. So I know that's a difficult task, especially when you're one of the better organizations and it's such a high expectation on the Chiefs and just the Chiefs organization, not only from us, but, from the outside world, wanting them to crumble and, wanting us to fail. It's a tough duty to get up every day and understand how to attack that. So shout out to Brett Veach, like you said.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So, before we start talking about the mock draft, we have to address some of the players that we did lose to free agency. I think one of the ones that is really hard to see, other than Joe Tooney, which we did discuss, Tershawn Wharton, man, got his money, 3 years,
Hey,
$54 million to the Carolina Panthers. He led the Chiefs in sacks last year. I think that's kind of been forgotten, but he led the team in sacks. What a great year, and especially
Stark was balling last year, man.
coming
He was
from
balling.
a Division II school, undrafted free agent to getting paid. We're definitely gonna miss Tershawn Wharton for sure. And then we lost D Hop, we lost Justin Watson, we lost Justin Reed, who is going to continue the tradition of being a safety going to the Saints. Congrats to him, by the way.
Going to block everybody in their fan base by the second game of the season.
what's funny about his deal? He essentially got the same deal he came here to Kansas City on. It's just
Yeah,
wild to me.
the
I
10
thought he
million
would
a
have got
year.
would have paid a little bit more, but hey, um, got a job to do, got a family to take care of. Shout out to him and his fiance. They just had a baby, so nice new paycheck. I know it's really lovely to see in your bank account. So shout out to Justin Reed. I wish him nothing but the best, man. He was a consummate leader when he was here, man. Guy was willing to get his, always do the dirty work and get himself dirty when he was here. Great tackler, space. Uh, Definitely brought a great attitude to this defense as well too. So definitely gonna miss a guy like that. But like I said, when you're in this business, you got to be able to move on from guys and make tough decisions.
Yeah, I'll be sad, but there's a guy that runs faster, hits harder, covers better,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
kind
you
of,
draft his replacement, so
yeah, yeah.
it's that.
So yeah, I love Jay Reed, man, but I am excited for Hicks, man. That kid can play. So having a guy like that back there, obviously, he has to work on the the IQ part of, knowing the defense and being able to tell guys where to go, how to read defenses, how to read quarterbacks, and try to see how we attack. But man, that's a great guy to have in replacement. So shout out to Jay Reed, man. Stop searching your name on Twitter, Jay Reed. All right. You're
Yeah,
a
don't do it in New
professional.
Orleans for sure.
Don't do it in New Orleans. I'm telling you, those people are
Uh,
they're gonna tweet about you, okay? But yeah, shout out to Jay Reed, man. Stay off of Twitter. Congratulations on the contract. Big money, big money. Congratulations, dog.
Oh yeah, man. So there's still a lot to be. There's still free agency. There's still the draft. Amenahue is still on the table. Like we mentioned, Willie Gay is on the table.
That should be done Monday, man. This needs to be
Yeah.
done tomorrow, bro. We can't keep playing around with him. We need to get him back.
For sure. It would,
I think
who is the one edge rush? The Joey Bosa deal, I think, kind of set what the market should be for Charles Omenihu, I believe, because he only got a year, $12 million, right?
yeah,
yeah,
that's a little bit much though for a year. And I'm just like, he got that guaranteed too. So I don't think he's gonna get no Bosa contract. I think he'll be
Right.
somewhere between that. Maybe we can go 1 for 8 or 2 for 9 or something like that. We'll
With
see.
incentives to go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
with incentives.
2 years, 15, and then add some incentives in for games played because he's had some health issues. He's missed games, suspensions. I'd say 2 for 15 with some incentives added in.
yeah. I'll be completely honest about the Omenihu situation. I, I think, in my opinion, he kind of overvalued himself a little bit, and I know that the production when he is on the field has been high, but that's the problem. You have to be
Be
on the
on the
field.
field. Yeah.
So I think if you're trying to base off of what he should probably get, it should probably be closer to what I think it's Golston got from Dallas. I think it was like 3 years for 19 and a half or close to 20 million or something like that. I think that the Chiefs could be in that range to give him another contract. When he came here, he was on a 2-year, $20 million deal, so it was 10 per year. I think it can be something similar to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's feasible for him. I think that's more than fair. I love Charles Omenihu. I think the world of him. I think he's a great guy on and off the field as well. But there comes a point in time where your best ability is your availability, and you got to be available on the field. And I think that's the only thing that's holding him back from getting that big, massive payday. So hopefully he takes, even if it's not the Chiefs, hopefully he takes whoever's offering him, a solid deal at this point and be able to take a 2 or 1 year deal and then hit the market again and try to get that big payday.
100%. We hope we get him back, but we'll see what happens. But now we're gonna let Cory take the floor as I bring up his mock draft, the first mock draft that he would like to show us. Right here. And Cory, just go one by one about these picks. We'll start with Walter Nolan from Ole Miss.
I said we got to address.
We're good in the draft. That's enough.
I mean, he's going to give you that Chris Jones athleticism burst, that disruptiveness, and obviously everybody who's looking at this roster right now knows D-line is the biggest hole. Now, the only way I would go away from D-line is if some of those guys like Nolan's gone and somebody like Luther Burden slips. If you can get an elite receiver like that that's elite at all 3 levels, I could see pulling the trigger. But as for now, I'm sticking with what the Chiefs need and going with a D tackle, somebody that's plug and play in and out, that is going to be absolutely disruptive. And Chris Jones will feast off of him. We've been talking about that number 2 guy next to CJ that will open him up and take away some of the double teams. That's what Nolan will do.
Yeah, I would love to get Walter Nolan at 31. I'm not sure if he's going to be there because I think a couple teams in front of us could snatch him away from us. But if he's there, if I'm Brett reaching, I'm running to the podium.
I mean, here's the thing. D tackle, wide receiver, running back are so deep in this draft that some teams are going to value others higher, and it's either going to make it into the first round wide receiver push, which will drop D tackles.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I went with here. Some of the other receivers like Burden went late in the first round and dropped some of these D tackles, and that's where we snagged Nolan.
Yeah, I'm with him. Guy's athleticism pops off the charts. If you're looking for somebody that's closest to what Chris Jones is, Walter Nolan is definitely your guy.
I think he might be more athletic.
Maybe so. He's definitely gonna be a dog, and he's definitely gonna be a piece for somebody coming, early on in his career.
I know. Pick number 2 is for Trizzy.
Trey Harris, yeah. Talk to us about Trey Harris, bro.
So you got that big body receiver. We filled the role. We brought back Hollywood. We dropped D-Hop, which was kind of that throw that contested ball to him when nothing's open. That's what Trey Harris is going to give you. He's big. He's a solid route runner. He can play the outside. He can play the X, which is really what we need. We've got speed. We've got quickness. We've got the zone beater. And now he gives you that one-on-one man beater. He's going to overpower you physically.
Yeah, real quick, guys. I think, people are automatically slating that this is a defensive draft for us. I do think that our first pick will be on the D line, but I'm not sure after that. I think, I still think there's a need at receiver, like you just said. Trey Harris fits the bill for a solid X guy. I think Rashee Rice is a solid X guy, but we won't have him to begin the year. So I think whoever that rookie is, I can see the receiver room being is Rashee Rice, Zay, Holly, Juju,
Draft pick.
Nico.
and a draft pick. So I think that kid from Ohio State's on the radar as well. Number 2.
Mabuka.
Yeah.
Luka.
I like him as well. So, and then I mean, if they don't go receiver with that second pick, Cory, I'd love to see one of those Ohio State backs in that red, baby. I would love to see that.
I think I got another explosive back in this draft too.
Go ahead,
Speaking
talk to us
of,
about
speaking of, I'm
Alex
on
Simpson.
college football. If any one of you dweebs want to challenge me, that's watching, or any of you guys, Trizzy be the name. That's the screen name. It's the same thing on everything. Send me an ad, send me a follow, send me a game invite. I'll bring that build out.
Why don't you talk to us about Dylan Sampson, Cory?
The Tennessee running back. Like I said, another one's versatile back. He can play 3 downs. I would rather Henderson. We're talking about that explosive back. I'd rather Henderson from Ohio State. Judkins actually surprised me. Ran a little bit faster than I thought he would. So he's got a little bit of burst to go with that pop. So, but I mean, between him, the North Carolina running back, Sampson, I mean, I like all of them. You give us a pick of any of those running backs, our running back room is automatically much more dynamic than it is right now.
Yeah, Dylan Sampson is definitely a dynamic weapon that you could have. Definitely a 3-down back. I think the only thing that might hold him back and drop him in this draft is just been the injury history for him, especially over the last year or so. But hopefully he can come in and be healthy as well too. But I think he's definitely a dynamic piece for them. This is such a deep running back class that I think you can get a good value for a guy anywhere between second and fifth round. To me, in my opinion, especially if the board falls in your favor. Yeah.
You got Neal in the later mid rounds. Another one that I kind of like going into the combine, but I completely have fallen off of is his name's that Ollie Gordon.
I was just talking about Ollie the other day.
He looks so slow, so stiff at the combine. He kind of just dropped off my radar.
Yeah.
I think he ran like 4.65 40, which is not good at all for a running back, especially if you're looking for somebody to add that home run ability. That completely took him off my board.
Yeah, Ollie's definitely, to me, in my opinion, that's first.
A cornerback from Iowa State. I like him a lot. It's a running back out of NC State that I like a lot too. Can't remember his name right now. But I'll be looking out for him to see where he goes. If I believe he was a senior this year, so see if he actually gets drafted. But I thought, like you said, there's a lot of running backs in this draft. Even though we know some of those names, there's a lot of guys' names that we don't know who are also talented as well. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, I think, like I said, this running back draft class is so deep. You can get a guy like R.J. Harvey all the way down in the fifth or sixth round. A guy who's out of UCF, who, in my opinion, made magic happen with virtually nothing
Yeah,
at UCF. So that speaks to what his vision may be like, how explosive he is, or whatever. Three down back as well too. That's the surprising part about this running back class too, is that there's a lot of guys that can play all three downs. And so I think you're going to get real great value wherever you pick a running back in this class this year.
Now, do you have the mock draft up? I can't see it on my screen.
Yeah, I got it up. Do you guys see it?
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at it right.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
see it.
Oh,
I don't see it.
I think your next pick was Kobe Bryant.
yeah, Kobe Bryant.
I mean, it's another depth piece at cornerback. He's going to be CB4, and like I said, he's still got some work to do. He's not very polished, but he's great at trailing. He doesn't have a whole lot. I think he's like, what, 5'11", 6 foot?
Yeah, just about. His biggest issue is his weight.
Yeah, and like 170 pounds. So, I mean, he can deal to put a few more pounds on. He's not going to be that physical cornerback, but he's still another solid trail cornerback. And if you're looking at cornerback 4 on a roster, I think I would much rather have him out there than somebody like Joshua Williams. So, I mean, getting a cornerback that will be a starter, a cornerback 3 on most teams, and getting him that point in the draft, I think is a solid place for him to go. Especially where it's somewhere he's not going to have to jump in and start immediately. They can work on his conditioning, his physicality, his size, maybe gain a little bit of weight and a little bit of muscle. And once Fulton's deal is done, coming up in year 3 of his, or even Watson starting next year, Kobe could surpass him and be cornerback 3 on this team. He's got the upside. So, like I said, he needs to get in the weight room, gain a little bit of weight. He's got the other traits.
Yeah. Kobe's got really good ball skills as well too.
Yeah,
So he's
that.
really phenomenal at taking the ball away.
Where did he transfer from?
He didn't transfer. He was at KU.
He was at KU this whole time. Okay.
Yeah, formed one of the better secondaries at KU between him and Melo Dotson. Like I said, really, really great ball skills. Yeah, he's probably a little bit underweight for people who would like, but I said the same thing last year about Xavier Worthy, and he came in to show you what he could do in this league as well too. I don't ever think it's about the weight or anything like that. May not be able to be as physical at the line or anything, but he mirrors and plays in phase really well. And then at the end of the day, it's one trait that I love for corners to all have. Do you have that dog in you? And I really believe that Kobe Bryant is one of those guys that has that dog in him.
Yeah.
Now, do you think he wears number 8 or number 24?
That I don't know, but he will only wear 24 if Sky Moore is eventually up out of here. So, but we'll see. Hopefully, he's got a good shot at being able to wear it. So.
Hell yeah. Next one, 4th round draft pick from Maryland, Jordan Phillips.
I said another D tackle that's a 3-down D tackle. I got guys that have size and disruptiveness, so they're not gonna be that true nose tackle where they're like 370 pounds like Don Taripo. But these guys are guys that are gonna be effective against the run and be able to get some pressure. So I went with more 3-down backs, so we didn't have to do a lot of line shuffling. I know the Chiefs have had to do that a lot recently and have gotten caught in situations to where the offense would refuse to sub, so we couldn't. And so we would be either be undersized or oversized, trying to put in a speed package or a run package. So I went after guys that'll be solid 3-down D tackles. You don't have to worry about them being a liability in the pass game or the run game. You can plug them, play them, let them stay out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is a deep, very defensive tackle is a very deep draft as well too. You can get good value for guys that are going to fall to Vernon Broughton, Alfred Collins, guys that could fall in the draft in 4th, 5th round or whatever. I think you can get really high value at those
See, I can't see it online. Dominic, look up his height and weight for me.
Yeah.
Jordan
And
Phillips.
Jordan Phillips. Jordan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Height
you guys-
and
Drizzy?
weight.
Well,
He is 6'6", 342.
With athleticism. So, like I said, you've got him, CJ. These are guys that, and I think Nolan's on the first one's a little bit smaller, but you've got some meat on this one. But he's still got the athleticism to stay in on passing downs. Like I said, he's not that Don Poe nose tackle to where you put him in to stop the tush push or the run. These guys are able to be put out there all 3 downs and leave them out there.
Hell yeah. And then for your last 2 picks, you have the tight end from Utah, Brant. I'm gonna say this name wrong. Clithy?
I mean, let's just be
Kuthi?
honest. 7th round, you're just looking at somebody that can come in and compete for a roster spot. I know tight ends, we had injuries with the rookie last season. Kelsey's getting older. So I figured late round is a place to take a shot, see if you can get some guy that can stick around, be a tight end 2, tight end 3, maybe come in and fill in that blocking role as a tight end.
Gotcha. And then the last pick, which is Mr. Irrelevant, I believe, from Syracuse. Gosh, I have awful eyes. Safety Elijah Clark.
I said we were losing Justin Reed, so another late round pick. Veach obviously likes his late round picks in the secondary. We've got several cornerbacks on the roster that were late round picks and UDFAs. So I figured go safety here, see if we can find another guy that can step in. Smaller, faster, be a special teams player at first, but have a chance to earn a roster spot.
Hell yeah. Any notes, DG or Trizzy?
How would you about that draft?
my
Yeah,
Tucson Phil.
Look, I love it, man. Especially with the Walter Nolan. Like I said, after that we can stop the draft. in my opinion.
Yeah.
But no, I love the first 2 picks, Nolan and Harris. I really think that those guys will be high impact starters to come in, and especially in their rookie years. Love having Kobe as a developing piece as well. And then I think once you, to me, in my opinion, when you're in the draft, once you get past fourth round, you're pretty much just trying to find a needle in a haystack. So you're banking on maybe this guy will hopefully work or whatever. But you know, you can always find value in those rounds well too. And we've seen over the years how well Beach and his staff have been able to execute their plan in those later rounds as well. So hopefully it turns out into something. But I don't have too much expectations of guys that are usually picked after the 4th and 5th rounds.
Yeah, I agree. The first 2 are obviously needs. You come in with guys who can come in and play right away. I think we do a good job at kind of filling those roles of finding a talent that we can, mesh with our talent and have them playing from day one in training camp and getting those guys acclimated. Obviously, we have one of the tougher training camps in the NFL. That's not a secret around the league. Everybody knows that. So whoever we pick will definitely be ready to play once that we get that schedule for game day and all that stuff. Excited for the defense. I know it's a lot of stuff being talked about with guys we need to pick up and sign and stuff. But if we knock the draft out, I think the questions will be have to ask later. So I'm really, really, really deciding, just trying to see if we do go running back in this draft, do we trade up or do we try to get one in the 3rd round or what we do there. But I would love to address that cornerback need as well. I do like Fulton. I love what we got right now, but I do think we can get better, especially after um, Jawan. I mean, not Jawan. Especially after Jalen Watson. So if we can go get a guy like Kobe, like you said, that quarterback from Iowa State, he's probably going to be off the board by then. But it's a few guys that I like in this draft as well. So just in a real dire need for a running back to be dynamic and also help with Chris Jones on that defensive line. I'm tired of seeing him getting double teamed and teams having all day to pass. It shouldn't be like that. We need our guys to create some different type of pressure and some different type of hurries or whatever we can. Those little things add up. So and get some guys in here that can make some noise. And I think the defense will be back on that elite level like we were a couple years ago.
Now, I'll say another person to watch in the middle late part of the draft, and this would be a Beach special. He loves these bigger defensive ends that can slide inside. Now, I don't have him on here, but for Mizzou, that Johnny Walker. I think he plays a lot bigger for a defensive end, smaller for a D tackle. Beach loves that little in between to where you can move him in and out. And he was actually very disruptive at Mizzou, playing both in and out. So that's another direction I could see the Chiefs going in the mid to late rounds, is getting another defensive end with that type of build.
Nice little nugget there. Thank you, Cory, for this awesome mock draft. We'll definitely have more from you as the weeks go on, but it looks like that's all we're going to be able to talk about today. Obviously, there's more free agency as the weeks go on, much more of the combine, more mock drafts, more speculation, and maybe something fun down the road. We got something cooking for draft night. But as always, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube at youtube.com/Arrowhead PM podcast. It's a long off season, and I know football seems like an eternity away, especially after what happened on that fateful Sunday, but we're going to get right back to it. We're going to update you on everything. And I'm just excited for the draft. Trizzy, as always, you always have the best last words for us to sign us off. So why don't you hit them with it?
As a great man once said, good things come to an end, but that doesn't mean they can't start again, baby. All right. So hold on tight, hold on close. Hold that Chiefs jersey close. Don't get too frustrated just yet. Right in the midst of fire, you see a golden star. And that star is the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. All right. Everything that's good has to come to an end, unfortunately, but good things can start again, baby. All right. That's what I'm gonna leave you with till next week.
Hell yeah, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Let's go Chiefs!
I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. I told you.